Let's see that everything is working fine. Okay, YouTube is live. Yo. Let's go with this. Let me see. Okay, we are live on Twitch. Everything is fine. Everything is awesome. Everything is fucking great. Okay. So I can go. Volume working.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Sammy. It's been 5 months to the day since Path of Exile 2's early access launched. And today, I wanted to reflect the hype, the flaws, the fix.
Okay, it is fine. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Yo, Russell Westbrook, papi, how are you doing, dude? Eh? Master Roshi, yep. When he had the costume Jackie Chun, I don't know if in English it was called Jackie Chun, but in the Spanish dub, when he had that costume for the tournament, he was called Jackie Chun. All good, brother, all good, my dude. So I am leveling a new character for a new build. Uh, but I twink the fuck out of this motherfucker. I am killing shit in one hit. But that is fine because I wanna level it up fast. So we are going to watch videos while I level this motherfucker. So I have this video here from Sammy Caps that is called PoE2's Growing Pains, a real look at the first 5 months. I love Sammy's videos, and this title caught my attention, and it is related to the new infographic that they released because he's showing it here on the thumbnail. And I didn't make a video about that one, so this is a good moment for everything, and there is not a lot happening right now. So let's just dive into this, dude.
Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Sammy.
Hey.
It's been 5 months to the day since Path of Exile 2's early access launched. And today, I wanted to reflect the hype, the flaws, the fixes, and what still needs to change. This isn't doom and gloom, it's honesty. And it's from someone who genuinely wants this game to succeed. So let's talk. It's been 5 months since PoE 2 launched into early access, and I think we all need to have an honest conversation about where things stand. When Path of Exile 2 first dropped, it was electric. You could feel the buzz. Social feeds were flooded with first impressions, reaction, raw excitement, and rightfully so. We were all caught up in the euphoria of a new ARPG from a studio that helped define the genre. I remember logging in those first few days, wide-eyed, hopeful, and thinking this could be it. This could be the one. But
when I opened Path of Exile 2 for the first time and I killed the very first boss, I already fell in love with the game right there. And I am still in love with the game 5 months deep. I think that and I release a lot of videos complaining about the game, or complaining in quotes, but to me it is feedback saying things that need to be improved for the game to be better. But that is the way I say it, for the game to be better, not for the game to be good, because the game is already good in my opinion. I am still hooked to the game. I still think that the game is awesome. And I think that the hate, or not necessarily the hate, the bad aspects of the game have been overblown. This is an awesome game, dude. It is. I know that people don't like the early access excuse, but it is not an excuse in that sense. Like, this is an early access game, and it is already better than fully released game. Dude, it is better than Diablo 4, that it is not only released, but it has an expansion. You know? It is better than a lot of fully released games. I think that because PoE 1 was such a good game, the bar for GGG is higher. The standards we are asking from GGG are higher than the standards that we ask from other studios. But let's chill a little bit. I think that the game is fucking awesome, dude. I am in love with the graphics, with the music, with the story, with the way your character moves, with the skill tree, with the skill gems, with the itemization. Yes, there is bullshit like the trading, like the crafting, like the I don't know, the punishment in the end game, the mobs that are cracked, the Atlas tree is fucked up. Yes, I know there are bad things, but there are a lot of good things. The game is awesome, in my opinion. And I know that the haters are gonna dislike this shit because I am saying that the game is good. Yo, Fernando, what you doing, dude? I am awesome, dude. In here just playing and leveling the game. Let's stay for a bit, but I gotta go to work early tomorrow. Did they already change your schedule, dude? That is fucked up, brother. Now I need my change of schedule so that I can stream earlier, brother.
As the weeks and months went on, the honeymoon phase wore off, and what started to settle in, unfortunately, was some doubt. Patch 01 came and went, and let's be honest, it didn't do much. It didn't address the most critical issues. Actually, some would say GGG doubled down on their vision. It didn't inject life into the end game. It didn't fix the loot. It didn't touch crafting. It just sort of happened. That was the moment for many when things shifted from curiosity to concern. Now, to GGG's credit, patch 0.2 did start turning the tide. Loot saw major improvements, systems felt more responsive, and 0.2G, the recent hotfix, was arguably one of the most meaningful updates so far. Loot was finally scaled in a way that felt respective of players' time. And you could tell just by the conversations online that some of the spark was coming back. But here's the thing. We're 5 months in now to the day, and no matter how much you love the game, myself included, or want to love it, it's clear GGG has their work cut out for them. Let's not pretend otherwise. There are still major holes in this experience. The endgame, shallow, repetitive, uninspiring, and actually, some would say the same thing for the campaign. Although, for the most part, the campaign is loved by many, the fact that we have to repeat Acts 1 and 3 is just, I think, adding to players not liking the campaign. Now, obviously,
now, he has said a lot, and I have waited to give a more drawn out opinion. But specifically about this point, I agree completely with that point because I've been saying it too. And yes, we know that the 3 acts back to back, the cruel difficulty, we know this is a placeholder. We know that the actual campaign is not going to be like that. But right now, running the three acts back to back is a pain in the fucking ass. So I do think they need to do something about it. If the 3 acts are not ready, just release the act that you have. Like my brother Art is saying in here, need 0.3.0 with Druid and Act 4. Completely agree. Please give me the Druid. I want to be a Wolf Druid. And on top of that, if you don't have Act 6, release Act 4 and 5. If you don't have 5 and 6, release Act 4. It doesn't matter this problem that some people have. No, because that messes with continuity. And what are you going to do? Run Cruel 1 and 2 or run Cruel 2 and 3? Yes, it doesn't matter. We know the story. It's just for gameplay purposes. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to have perfect continuity. Forget about that shit. Running 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 is a pain in the fucking ass. That is one of the reasons people don't like running the campaign right now, dude. Even if they don't say it overtly, it is one of the reasons inside it feels boring, because having to go through the same bullshit twice in a row is stupid. But looking at all the other stuff, again, I don't think that the game is in that bad of a state. I am not worried about the future of the game. I am glad they are somewhat sticking to their vision while at the same time addressing the players' feedback. That is what they should do. Not completely do everything the player wants, because players are idiots, right? But also not completely ignore players' feedbacks, because that is also stupid. the middle ground. Listen to players' feedback, address it, but don't abandon the vision. That is the way I think it should be, and they are trying to do it. Again, lots of things still to fix. I will keep complaining. I will even release a video talking about quality of life stuff that is just nitpicking, but we have to do it right now, early access and all of that. And I am saying it in the fuck is this? I don't know what this motherfucker is saying to me in the game, dude. But what I'm trying to say is that you also see negative things about the game, but I am still like, in my opinion, the positive outweighs the negative, and that makes the game still good, in my opinion. I am still hooked. I am still playing every day. I don't think about playing other shit. And what else can I ask? But I understand that it is not the case for everybody, by the way. If you are not having fun, dude, hey, you are not having fun. I can't tell you to have fun. What's the new build? For now, this is just a leveling build. But in the end, it will be a crazy build that I am doing because I want to use this helmet right here. So I am making a build to use this helmet. The Asylum that drops from Simulacrum. Or yes, for Simulacrum, I believe so. So I want to use this helmet and I am making a full build just to use this fucking helmet, dude. Yeah, going cruel sucks. In my opinion, they should use reward maps early. That could also be the case, but then you will be bored of running maps too, right? But at that point, you have to evaluate what do you prefer to get bored of the campaign or of the maps? I don't know. They have to evaluate that. Yo, Iron Maiden, my dude, why the fuck do bows have light radius? I don't know. That is stupid as fuck. The existence of the light radius stat is stupid. What's going on, bro? Yo, Sting, my dude, how you doing, brother? Ooh, that's nice. Can't wait to see the end build. Yeah, me too. I want to blast through the leveling process already, dude.
That will go away in the future when we don't have to repeat the acts. However, some do have that feeling right now. Build diversity is stiffed, with only a handful of viable options that feel truly expressive. Crafting.
The problem with build variety, I will tell you what is. It's not that there are no different builds, because there are different builds. Myself, I have 2 builds that I am recommending that I have the guides put out as videos, and those builds clear the content till 16 easily. I've done full ritual, full breach. I have the 8 out of 8 points. I have 6 out of 8 in expedition. I killed the Arbiter of Ash, and these are off meta builds. So it is not that there is no build variety. There is build variety. There are a lot of builds that can clear everything in the game. But the power difference between these off meta builds and the meta builds is so insane that people don't even consider the other builds, because why would I have to do mechanics in a boss fight if I can play Lightning Spear, throw one single spear at the boss, and he explodes? If you play enough meta like me, at this point we are idiots, right? So it is better to just play the meta builds. That is why there is no build diversity, because obviously people are going to go for the easy, powerful builds, and those are a handful. But if you go one step below those, then you have thousands of viable builds. And I have a video teaching you how to find awesome off meta builds, by the way. I applied for a role at GGG. They deleted my application. Dude, why? What did you apply to? Apply to customer service. There is no way they reject you from customer service. Everyone can do customer service.
It's gambling. It's either too gated or not meaningful enough to engage with long term. Although, I will admit, 0.2G has made some inroads with.
It improved, but it still sucks. The thing with crafting, and why I don't bash them so hard with crafting, is because they said that crafting is something that is going to get better with time as they introduce more stuff that interacts with crafting. But on the flip side, one of the reasons that I still mention that it sucks from time to time is that the philosophy they have regarding omens, I don't like that they are purposely making the good omens, the omens that you need to actually craft, they are making it so rare that people can't engage with crafting. Normal players can engage with crafting. You know who are engaging with crafting at that level? Streamers that get handouts from viewers or real money traders. But normal people that just play the game for fun, maybe 1 out of 1,000 is interacting with that system, you know. So fucking stupid, dude. So fucking stupid. Yeah, it was a customer service forum mod position. Trap life for me, dude. Why are they rejecting people for that, dude? And I was going to say maybe I apply to that shit and they fly me out there. If they are not taking people from there, there is no way in hell they take people that are not from there.
The loot in order to make that a little bit more attainable. The delay of PoE 1. I know this is a sore point for many, and the 3.26 league. Now, that's a bad look, especially when we haven't heard any recent updates. That player base is still in limbo and very angry. Now, we are in May, and we have heard that 3.26 is going to be happening in June, and I suspect that timeline is still going to be respected.
I really, really hope the 3.26 is really good and makes players happy. Not only because I, of course, want to play it and I want it to be good, but also because I want PoE 1 players to shock the fuck up about not having fucking leaks. Because one of the reasons they cheat a lot on PoE 2 is because they are not getting leaks on PoE 1. And dude, I get it, I understand it, but at the same time, that frustration is impacting the feedback they give towards PoE 2. Since their preferred game, because they like it more than PoE 2, and that is fine too, is not getting updates, they cheat on this one, and that warps the complete perception of the game. So everyone is happy. I really hope 3.26 is really fucking good. Maybe because I can't speak Chinese. I can't either, dude. Maybe we should learn, dude. And I know what you are saying. I get the joke, and precisely, maybe we should learn Chinese. No one that is just playing the game is interacting with omens. It's reserved for flippers and trash that do real money trading. Exactly.
However, it has been a long time since a new league has happened in Path of Exile 1. More broadly, many long-term players feel unsure of the identity this game wants to have, myself included. And I have to say, this is worth reflecting on. I've asked myself what makes a good ARPG, and the top 5 characteristics that I have come up with are the following. 1 is a deep, rewarding endgame with long-term progression. 2, build crafting freedom with true meta diversity. 3, fair and transparent monetization, cosmetics only, obviously. A rich, evolving world with meaningful lore and events. We all
okay, I agree with those points. I was waiting to hear something, I don't know, stupid like fast combat or loot piñatas, and thank God he didn't say anything like that. And that is cool because I like Sammy's videos because he gives good takes, and this is a good take. Now, if we see those 4 things, I do believe that Path of Exile has that, right? Path of Exile 1 for sure has it. Path of Exile 2, you could say that it has the world building and the lore. It is cool, it is awesome. And it has the fair monetization. There are like the mystery box, and that you need the stash tab to be able to trade, and the skin transfer that is stupid, but still, it is fair monetization. Let's be honest in here, guys. There are all, like in the list of predatory games, Path of Exile is way down the list, dude. Let's be honest in here. But then you get to the build diversity part and to the deep endgame part, right? And I do think that we could say that the game has it in some way. Like, yes, the build diversity could be better. But as I stated earlier, there are lots and lots and lots of builds that can clear the content. Not at the speed that the meta builds do it, but they can. And with the deep end game, yes, Path of Exile 1 end game is 10,000 kilometers deeper, right? I get it, dude. I get it. But it is still good enough, right? You have 4 types of pinnacle encounters. You have 1 pinnacle boss. You can map a lot. There are different mechanics in the maps. My opinion, it is, of course, it is way deeper than Diablo 4's endgame. And there are some people that will say that Last Epoch endgame is deeper. There are some people that will say that PoE 2 endgame is deeper. But it is not shallow, right? It is not shallow. So I do think that under this criteria that you are putting out, Path of Exile 2 is a good ARPG then. I already thought that it was, but now if we are comparing it to this criteria, I think it is. I don't know if I'm getting lucky, but I got some useful omens recently. But are you getting the ones that cost like 6 divines, 1 omen? Omen of Whittling is one of them. There are other omens. Like the purple omens are the ones that are expensive. Both are good games. One lacks quite a bit of content. PoE 2, I like the campaign, not so much the endgame though. Time will tell. Yep, you could say it that way. D2 was great and had no endgame. Yes. But I'll be honest, D2 was great to clear the campaign. I never had the drive to play D2 like people played it. Like, no, I am going to kill Bale 10,000 times so he drops 1 rune. I don't know. That is boring as fuck. There is no way in hell I do that. There is no way in hell I do that. And it is because it is a product of a different time. And we were different also when we played it all those years back. But right now, if you want to spend hundreds of hours in a game, it needs an end game. Because if not, you get bored and you get to a different game. That is the truth of the game market today. If you don't have hundreds of these to actually craft, then it's better to sell the omens, not in trade. So you are not in trade, you have to use them, right? But again, the really useful ones are really fucking rare. They are the purple ones.
Brave, rich, evolving worlds in the games that we play. So this has to be in any good ARPG, in my humble opinion. Probably 1 and 2, 1 being deep rewarding endgame, and a 1-8 and a 2 is this next one. A compelling, responsive loot and crafting system. This is the engine that drives any good ARPG.
I thought he already had given the 4 points, and no, this was the 4 point. The other was tied to the 3rd point. Okay. I don't know. I think you can have an ARPG without crafting. For sure you can do it. It is better if you have crafting. And if you are not going to get crafting, you need to give the items that you would obtain through crafting, you have to give them out of the ground. Like if you are not going to give me crafting, you have to give me good items through the normal loot, right? Crafting is basically added to these games as an extra layer of something cool to do and to combat RNG if you get bad drops or whatever. But if you give me good loot out from the start, you don't need to give me crafting, right? And again, it is the case in some games that they don't give you crafting, they just give you the items. So it is not mandatory to have crafting. But in PoE, since we are in PoE 2 and PoE 1 had great crafting, it is a, I don't want to say necessity, but it is expected. It is expected from PoE 2 to have good crafting. And we want the good crafting. And they are supposedly trying to give us the crafting. Because if you are not going to give us crafting, well, don't give it to us. But they are giving it to us, but they are giving it badly. And then the loot that should be good if you are not going to give me crafting sucks dick. Well, now it is better after the patch, right? But that is why crafting, the loot being bad makes the bad crafting seems even worse for obvious reasons. But at the same time, I don't like that you tie the loot, the meaningful loot or the lot of loot or whatever, it is tied to a good ARPG. No, it shouldn't be. Because I guarantee you that you can make a good ARPG with basic as fuck loot. And I am not saying in the quantity that you drop, but in the way that the loot works. If the rest of the game is awesome, people are not going to care that much about that. The problem in games like PoE 2 is that loot is what gives you the power. If you don't have loot, you suck at the game. If you don't give me loot, the game will be frustrating, and then comes the frustration. So is this how you say it in English? You are putting the cart before the horse. You are saying that loot is more important than the feeling of the combat in the game and the progression of the character. And no, it is not like that. Loot serves the progression of your character. And that is why loot feels bad in PoE 2. But it is not loot what makes this work. It is the other way around. But maybe this is too philosophical game design, right? I don't know. Meaningful combat, meaningful crafting, or meaningful loot. Anything needs to be meaningful in this bullshit. They should both drop in SSF and remove the option to migrate the standard. I agree with that completely. Yeah, not sure in trade, but the whole reason I don't engage in trade is I am not trying to play a stock trader simulator. Brother, the correct exchange is like that, dude. I'd rather run backwards through a field of dicks than crafting PoE 2. Same, dude. I don't even try. I tried at the start playing SSF. No, fuck that. Now I play trading and everything in my character is fucking trading. Let another motherfucker craft that shit. Yo, good morning, Nash. How you doing, dude? To me, it is midnight, but good morning, brother.
RPG. If you don't have loot and you don't have a responsive and engaging crafting system, then I don't consider it a good ARPG.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. There are, in history, I want to come up with examples, but I know there are a lot of good ARPGs that don't have good crafting and loot is basic as fuck. Because you have to remember, players of Diablo 4, not necessarily Diablo 4, of Diablo, of PoE, of Last Epoch, we consider this type of game where you have this isometric camera and you kill monsters and you have the inventory and the skills, we consider these to be the only ARPGs. But that is not true. ARPG means action role-playing game, which means that any game where you are role-playing and it has action combat, which means not turn-based, is an ARPG. So The Witcher is an ARPG, Elden Ring is an ARPG, any game like that is a fucking ARPG. There are lots of those fucking games where there is no crafting, and I believe The Witcher has crafting, so I am not saying that one, I am saying other ones, where there is no crafting or crafting sucks, and the gearing is also basic, and the games are good. They are good ARPGs. So I don't agree with that. Also, Diablo 1. Diablo 1 is a good fucking ARPG. And the loot is basic and there is no crafting. So I don't agree with that. You can have a good ARPG with no crafting and basic loot. The thing is that for that to work, all the other shit has to be awesome. But in PoE 2, the game is built around loot. That is why not having loot feels so bad. Because the game is built around having loot. And if you don't give me loot, the game feels like shit. That is the problem. Again, putting the cart in front of the horse. Or the horse behind the cart. I don't know how you say this shit. But the important part is the progression of the character. Loot and skills and crafting and all of that serves the progression and how the game plays and how the game feels. But that is the primary target. If you make that good, all the other shit is just sprinkles on top. Loot is not what makes progression good. Progression has to be good, and then you add loot and all of that. I don't use error combinator because it always destroys my items. I have not had one successful recombination attempt, and I said, fuck this shit. That is why we call them Diablo Light, right? Yep. The crafting feels like it is balanced for people who play 10 hours every day. The crafting is balanced around people that real money trade this motherfucker. How are you doing, brother? Yo, Uncle Jay, my dude. Brother, I have your video. I haven't watched it, but I have it open to watch it. I saw the thumbnail that you reached 21K live. That is insane, dude. I have to watch that video. Guys, Uncle Jay in here makes awesome off-meta builds. So if you wanna... and he inspires me to find builds too, by the way. If you wanna find cool builds, subscribe to my brother Uncle Jay. He's in there in the chat in YouTube, dude. You will fail more times than you succeed. You just have to accept and keep going until you hit. That is one way to look at it, of course. You said it correct earlier, putting the cart before the horse. Okay, thank you, thank you. Yes, thinking that loot is the important thing is putting the cart before the horse, dude. Because the important thing is your character's progression. Now, if the game fundamentally is built, if the game built that the character progression is tied to loot, then if loot is bad, your character progression is bad because you built it that way. But if you build, for example, if you put little power in gear and put a lot of power into the skill tree, if you don't have loot, it will feel less bad because your power is not getting the right from there. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So, I don't know, I feel like loot it has become this dopamine thing and this thing that people, oh, loot, 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 loot. But it is not necessarily what makes your character strong. It in terms of philosophy, the designers of the game decided that loot is what gives you power. But they could decide that leveling up is what gives you power more than loot. But in this game, everything revolves around loot. That is why loot being bad makes the game feel bad. So they have to make loot good. Because they decided for the game to be revolved around loot. Put the body in front of the seahorse. Yeah, Jonathan and Mark say that they want us to get the stats from items and the skill tree. Both those stats. So basically we need good items to feel powerful. Exactly, exactly. That is why not having loot feels bad, right? In PoE 2. But again, we are asking in here because of the video we are watching, what things make an ARPG good? And I agree with all the first 3 points. But his fourth point is that a good ARPG needs to have good loot and good crafting. And yes, it is better if it has it, but it is not necessarily. I guarantee you that I could design a fucking ARPG that is good, that doesn't have fucking crafting, and that loot is basic as fuck. How would you do it? The rest of the game is awesome. Leveling up feels powerful. You have a good end game. You have good progression. The fights and the combat feels good. If you have a good fucking combat, people don't care about anything else, dude. If fighting is fun, people don't care about anything else. But in this game, when you are fighting, you can lose by frustration if your loot sucks. But if your loot didn't suck, then you are having fun. What if I gave you the power that looks give you, I give it to you, baseline, and I delete the inventory tab? You fight with that, and it is awesome, right? I know that people like extra layer of customization, but I can customize your character with other things. Why does it always have to be with loot? Do you understand what I say? You have to look beyond the plain sight. No, but people like to put points in here. I give you another type of progression that is not loot. That is not tied with randomness dropping from monsters. I can give you 10 different types of progression that is not that. Look deeper. Look deeper. Yo, Ruben, my dude. Hey, bro, where have you been so long? Well, the weekend was the weekend, and last night I was tired as fuck, and I went to bed early, dude. Early as fuck. A spicy one is coming quite soon. Oof, that is fucking awesome, dude. Great, I hope it's not expensive. I have 1 divine and 4 chaos, dude. I had 6 divines, and I bought some boots for 4 divines. Awesome boots, 35% movement speed. And then I decided to corrupt those boots. I bricked them. I deleted the 35% mod, and I had to throw them in the trash. So I fucking deleted 4 divines out of the game. I wish there was a filter when right-clicking a passive gen and you have a selected skill and you uncheck recommendations so that we can see only compatible passives and unowned. Can you do that right now? I don't know. I think we can kind of do that, but don't quote me on that. Depending on your standard, really. Okay? But loot can be less harmful with good skill tree selection and vice versa. Is what you're saying. Yes, makes sense. What I'm saying is that if you look deeper and you try to build a game from the ground up, you say, I am going to make a good ARPG. You don't need to have a lot of loot for the game to be good. You can even build a game, an ARPG with no loot, and the game can be good. That is what I'm trying to say. Because you tie your character progression to something different that is not loot. In PoE 2, it feels bad because the character progression is linked to loot. And then loot is bad, everything gets fucked up. But if I don't tie the character progression to loot, then it doesn't matter if I don't have loot. That is what I'm trying to say. We have to go deeper. Imagine these hypothetical scenarios in game design. So I don't agree with the perspective that there has to be a lot of loot to have a good ARPG. If you are building it from the ground up, now that the ARPG is built, in the case of PoE 2, yes, it is true. In the case of PoE 2, it is entirely true. Having shit loot in PoE 2 sucks dick. Because your character needs that loot to be able to progress. The loot is tied to the character progression. Because it took me a lot of trial and error to craft good gear, and I am still learning. Allowing players to use Recombinator and Omen can fix that. Yes, give me more odds but they don't want to give us better odds because then people are going to be crafting all the shit and the items are going to be too good and the trading and motherfucker. Everything is tied to another problem. By the way, if you're way too broke, picking up armors with quality and disenchantment makes bucks. Almost 1 exactal war armor. I do that all the time and that is good advice. Because nobody wants to pick up trash. Yes, 1x, 1 armor scrap is 1x. Fucking insane, dude. I do that all the time. Do you recomp fracture items? That help a lot to get 3 more items. I don't recomp, I don't craft, I don't do shit. I pick up shit, I disenchant it, I sell it, I trade it in the currency exchange, I get currency, and I buy the item that I want. Dark Souls gear progression where you can beat the whole game with a starter gear. Yeah. I don't know if that, because I haven't played Dark Souls. Is there crafting in Dark Souls? Or this meaningful meta crafting where you can create the most broken items via crafting? I don't think that Dark Souls has that. Maybe you can craft a little bit. Maybe you can upgrade your gear that you already found, right? But there is not this crazy meta crafting like in PoE 1. No way in hell that Dark Souls has that. And it is one of the best games ever made. You don't need it. You don't need it. The way that I would rephrase this point is having good character progression. And I believe he kind of, he said end game and then he said build variety. So it is not the same. But what he should have said in here is not necessarily having loot or crafting. You have to go 1 step deeper and you have to say good character progression. Now we are talking. A good ARPG has to have good character progression. And then the developer has to decide where that progression is coming from. Is it coming from loot? Is it coming from leveling up? Is it coming from another type of system? Like Diablo 4 has the Paragon board. Here in PoE you have also the Atlas tree. You can have other types of systems, right? Character progression is what is important. Want to buy Sacred Flame from Regals, okay? Fracture base will kick the fracture mod if you recombinate into that base. So basically, a 50-50 chance of keeping the mod if you hit. But if you don't hit, you lose the 2 items and you lose the fucking fracture orb that is 10 exalted or more. I don't know. I know you don't care about the price of the currency, but we trade cogs, we care.
Right now, I don't know how many of these top 5, my top 5 list, I don't know how many of those Path of Exile 2 nails, to be honest. But here is where I flip the script. Because despite all of this, despite the missteps, despite the disappointment, I still believe this game is going to deliver. Not today,
Nice, agree.
not tomorrow, maybe not even by the next patch, but eventually. There are...
To me, guys, but I know this is subjective, this is my own taste. To me, it already delivered. Do you guys think that I am biased in the way that I think? Let's get deeper into this. This thought just crossed my mind. Do you guys think that I am so positive about Path of Exile 2 because I come from Diablo 4 and Diablo 4 sucks? And the people that come from PoE 1, and PoE 1 is good, they think that PoE 2 doesn't live up to the standard. But I don't have that standard because I come from Diablo 4. And that is why I think the game is awesome. Because my bar is lower. Probably, I don't know. I am just throwing an hypothesis down there. My bar is lower, dude. Delete trading from the game. Yes, brother, a lot of shit is fucked up because of trading. I wanted to improve trading and improve SSF. And remove the shit that makes you transfer your character from SSF to trading, right? Yeah, but you can use a low tier mod with the high fracture mod to increase the odds of having 2 high mods and a low tier that you can then remove with omens. Okay, look at that. That is high fucking level crafting. Yes, of course. I knew that it was like that. It is a good idea to use tier 8 mods. It greatly increases your odds. Okay, rather than going to tier 10. Oh, okay. It is because I always try to recombine something really good and that is why it doesn't hit. PoE 1 is not good, it is the best. Okay. So exactly, the bar from players that come from PoE 1 is higher, and my bar is lower because I come from Diablo 4, and that is why I think that PoE 2 is fucking awesome. The problem with PoE 2 is that PoE 1 exists. Exactly, dude. That is a good way to put it. Okay. But I do think that the game delivers, dude. I do think the game will deliver. I am hopeful. And if they get in the flow of releasing PoE 2 League, PoE 1 League, PoE 2 League, PoE 1 League, everybody will be happy. I do think they can do it in time. So let's see what happens, dude.
Signs right now that GGG is starting to listen, that they're reading the room. The loot changes, a direct result of the player feedback. The patch cadence is kind of stabilizing. It's slow, painfully slow, but it's moving.
Talking about that, I know this time they are working on the PoE 1 League 2. But brother, I don't want to wait 4 months for the 0.3. Like the waiting from the first patch for 0.1 to 0.2 was long and boring as fuck. I don't know if I can take 4 months of this shit. Maybe having the 3.26 in PoE 1 will make it easier to wear. But this shit was too fucking long waiting for a fucking patch, dude. In my opinion. For a big content patch, not small patches, you know. I think this game has a sick aesthetic. It just needs a little more time. We are still missing classes and content, but it's a really good base. Yo, Taco, my dude! Based as fuck. I think that too. But to be honest, I really like PoE 2. I like it a lot. You guys know it. If it wasn't for PoE 2, I wouldn't even try PoE 1. I am getting into PoE 1 because of PoE 2. And I know I am not the only one that thinks that way. Lots of new players started with PoE 2 and are now going to give the try to PoE 1 because of that. Because PoE 2 eases you into the game. Now you understand the skill tree, now you understand the skill gems, you understand the progression. So now all the complexity in PoE 1, it is still complex, but it's a little bit more complex because you learned a lot of stuff in PoE 2. I've been waiting 1 year for the next PoE League. Yes, brother, that is one of the reasons. I know you guys in PoE 1 are pissed off because of that. Because you want a new league and they haven't given you a new league. Do you imagine the fucking storm that is going to be the cheat show if 326 sucks? They have to come up with a banger league, right? 326 has to be really good because players are going to be mad if they are waiting 1 year for a fucking league and then it sucks. Someone said, let me check the thing that even though shield charge can be used with the speed, even though it's a main class skill, but they don't tell you that. I don't know how true though. It is true. It is true. They don't tell you, and you can. I am using a spear, and I am using shield charge. And when you come to the shed for the skills, shield charge is under mace. It is not under shield. There should be another shed in here saying shield, but no, it is under mace. And I am not using a mace, so this is confusing for people that don't know how this works. You are correct, dude. You are correct. It's really good. Stepping Stone, I got bored in 0.1 and played Frisch. It was actually great. I did that too. No, I think we all just like to hyperbole and say everything is bad, but we have an early access game that is already solid. Sure, there are a lot of problems, but yeah, for the have early access, dude, Nash, base as fuck, dude. If I was making a PoE 2 takes tier list right now, that one would be base. Shield charge is the new hammer of the gods. Yep. People are using shield charge because it's like one of the only mobility skills you can have, right? Baldur's Gate 3 sucked ahead of early access. Yep. 326 will introduce meaningful combat to PoE 1, brother. I read so much if they do that. Yeah. See you in another YouTube speak today. Yo, worry, my dude. Yes, who talk about me, dude? Who talk about me? Now I am curious, sorry. You have to tell me who the fuck talk about me, dude. Because I get really happy. Even if they are saying that I am crazy. Hey, if I appear in someone else's video, I am happy. Even if they are saying that I am wrong. Let me find it. 30 seconds for sure, dude. Check out Alien Weaponry Maumoko, soundtrack for the Smith of Kitava. So when you are playing Smith of Kitava, that is what sounds. I am going to open it here in a tab to listen to it later, dude. Let me put it in here. Alien Weaponry. Maumoko. Ooh, because they are like Maori, right? And this is related to the like the town or the country where the warrior is in lore, right? I forgot Karui. I believe it is Karui. Okay, let me check that out. Which one? LOL, and I have one of these dudes' videos open to watch it. Look at this. Dude, how much of a coincidence can this be? I have one of these videos dude open to watch it with you guys. The ethical rant about PoE 2 community at large. It is one of his videos.
Look at these thumbnails, guys. I gotta show this to you. Loot fixed. 400% more loot. Loot buffs for everyone. Except magic finders. I bet Surgog loves
I am going to come up in here in one of these videos.
Finders.
Right?
Oh, that is actually a real screenshot from the game. Okay. Sorry.
There it is.
What is
there I am.
this? Loot fix. I should start doing that. You should put my face on the screen. Something else down
yes,
here.
brother, you should do it, dude.
What is this? I'm about to go back into my VODs and see if I can find this exact screenshot of in my own VODs. I swear that probably exists.
Is that the one, Ori? Hey, that is fucking cool, dude. That is fucking cool, bro. Thank you for showing me that, dude. Free advertising. Yep. Algorithm doing its thing. Thank God, dude. That is fucking cool, brother.
And this is why I keep logging in, because I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I'm here because I care. I'm here because I want to see the game succeed. And if you're watching this, maybe you do too.
Yes, I do.
Right now, we're in the uncomfortable middle where the bones are there, the systems are forming, but the soul, the magic, that's still unfortunately on the horizon. So here's what I leave with you. If you've walked away from PoE 2, I get it. If you're still here grinding and hoping, I see you. And if you're just watching from a distance, waiting for that one patch to bring you back, maybe that patch is coming sooner than we think.
Please.
Now, I know what all of you are thinking. Oh, God. Another friggin' video about this, about that, about Path of Exile 2, and all this kind of stuff. But as a content creator, I'm going to talk about what I'm feeling about the games that I care about and the
You try to come up with a new thing to talk about one singular game every fucking day, dude. I put out one video a day. All of them related to Path of Exile 2. Sometimes you don't know what the fuck to talk about, dude. Sometimes you don't know what else you can say about this shit, right? So sometimes, or you repeat something that everybody knows, or it is something new, but it kind of hammers down on complaining again, or praising the game again, and people feel like, oh, yeah, this complaining again. Oh, this dude is sucking GG stick again. So, like, I have so much things that I can talk about, dude. So many things I can talk about. Legit was so hyped in your face. Oh, dude, that is fucking awesome. Thank you, dude. Thank you for showing me that. And I have one video from him queued up to watch it, dude. Orale, your beats are getting around 2K views now. A rato you'll have it at 10K and so on. Brother, I really hope so. I really hope so. And thank you for the support, guys. Like, you know that none of this could happen without you guys, so I am really, really grateful because of your support, right? Because you motivate me to keep going, dude. To keep grinding. The grind gets tough sometimes, dude. But hey, we are going to do it. We are going to do it. So thank you, dude.
games that I'm playing. And currently, I'm playing Path of Exile 2. And I have to say, this is probably, when I said we are in the middle ground here, I have to say, we're in a state of influx right now because I am torn. And I'm being completely honest here. I am so torn on what everything's happening right now with Path of Exile 2 because here is the dilemma for me personally is the fact that I trust grinding gear games, although I have to say the armor has been tarnished a bit. These missteps that I've mentioned not only in this video but in many previous videos before this, these missteps have been big miscalculations, and you know it has planted a seed of doubt. As small as it is, it's still a seed of doubt. So I am a little bit worried, but I also trust grinding gear games because I still do believe that they know what they're doing.
I do too.
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has a misjudgment. Everybody has a thought, okay, this is
I have said the same thing several times. Like, I think that the vision, again, the meme and all of that, yeah, the vision or they want to do with the game or everything, that is good, dude. They just make mistakes from time to time because I always say this. You never make a mistake in your job. When you're at work, you never make a mistake. Bullshit. Everyone's make mistakes at work. You have to remember that making this game is their job, is their work, right? So they are going to make mistakes from time to time. So some things are their intention. By the way, some things are their intention, and some things are a mistake. it would be awesome knowing which one is which, right, for us. And that is something that the players emphasize about. Like some things that are a mistake, players think that it is intentional, and some things that are intentional, players think that it is a mistake. So we don't know. Honestly, giving us a scoring and alteration will benefit us so much. I don't remember what alteration does in PoE 1, but scouting is the one that makes it that if you have a blue item, for example, you can revert it back to a white base. That will be fucking awesome in PoE 2 because you drop a lot of blue items that suck dick, but if you could wipe it out and that same item you become it a white base, it will be worth something. That would be awesome, dude. Those armor only work on physical damage. Yep. You have to remember that there are spells that do physical damage. But yes, it only works in physical. Yes. In PoE 2, a spell physical hit exists. And armor works for that. Yes, scoutings and alterations will let us craft more easily. I hope at least the scouting makes it to the game. At least the scouting, dude. I love Sammy. I do too. I watch almost all of his videos off stream, of course. I have reacted to him for the channel before, but I normally watch a lot of them off stream. I really like him. I think he's cool. I think he really likes the game. I think he wants the game to be good, and he makes good, thoughtful videos, not just going with the wave, but giving his actual opinion. People making weird build because it's not to prove something, but because they're bored as fuck. That is true, Molandero, by the way. I am doing more builds because I want to play something cool, different, dude.
That's how I'm gonna do it. This is how I'm gonna succeed. And you go and do it, and you fall. But you can course correct. This is life. There are second chances. So
Yep.
I'm torn because I want Grinding Gear Games to listen to the player base, but I also want them to stick to them doing what they do best.
Dude, I said that earlier. We are connected in here, Sammy, dude. Base. Because I said that earlier. I said exactly that earlier, dude. They leaked an alteration orb in a PoE 2 video a while ago, deleted the video, so it might be on the right. I remember that. And we were hoping it was introduced in this patch, and they didn't do it. So let's see if they introduce it in the future, and if they don't, it is because they are just using it for internal testing or for development bullshit or whatever the fuck, right? I hope so. I do too. You gotta start doing polls in your live streams of hot topics like this. I don't know how that works here in PoE 2. In YouTube. I know how to do it in Twitch, but you guys are watching from YouTube. So, and I don't know how to do it on YouTube. I will learn how to do it. And maybe we start doing it next stream or whatever. After I learn how to do it, Do you think we will get new story acts in the new patch? I finally want to go to my city. Like last patch, I thought we were going to get Act 4 and we didn't get it, and I was really disappointed. So this time around, I don't want to get my hopes up and then not get it, So I am not saying, yeah, we for sure are getting it, but I do think we are getting Act 4. I do think. But at the same time, I don't want to get my hopes up and get disappointed again because we cannot get it, it is possible that we don't get it. So I don't know. I don't know. But my hope and my belief is that they will release at least Act 4. You have a Discord? Yes, do they have a Discord? It is in the description below of any of my videos. You can join in there. I am active all the time. Every day I am active in there. You guys can join my Discord, and it is like basically talking with me all the time, even if I am not streaming. If you are interested in that. I am not saying, oh, you have access to me and I am so important and you can talk with me. No, it is if you want to, there is a Discord you can join. I am active all the time. Yeah, also in tandem with recoms, you make life so easy because right now I had to burn to over 200 bases to craft my weapon, but it's more like cock and bolt. Exactly. Oh, and the scouting allows you to use the same base, right? Because if you have the base, you throw the transmutation and the augmentation, and you don't like it, you can scour and start all over. That is fucking cool, right? That is fucking cool. But then the fracture or fucks it all up, because if you fracture and you hit the one that you like, and then you scour, you can start over, but with the one of the mods already there. Maybe they don't want you to do that. I don't know. I hope they add Hinecora's log so I can also never get one in PoE 2. I don't know what that is, dude. but it sounds cool. It sounds cool.
And that is create amazing games. So this is why I'm torn. I'm torn because I don't want them to come so much to listening to every little tidbit that is said out here in the internet universe, where that they get away from the true core of how they want to make this game. Because I do believe, I know there's a lot of memes on GGG's vision, but I do believe in that core vision.
I do
it
too.
Just
I do
needs
too.
fine tuning and adjustments. Now, are some aspects of that vision that I disagree with wholeheartedly. And the first thing that comes into my mind, and the one that really drives me crazy personally, is how crafting is so much gambling involved, and that they need to kind of bend a little bit to become a more deterministic crafting. Now, I love.
They said that they don't want it to be deterministic. They have said it several times. And I am fine with it being gambling if you can direct the gambling. And they would say, yes, that is what omens are for. Omens don't exist, motherfucker. Omens are a myth. Nobody that plays the game normally is using omens. Omens are used by fucking real money traders and streamers. Will you start something like the Rocky Challenge again? I thought that was hilarious. I am going to probably continue the Rocky Challenge. I have my character there. My Rocky Challenge dude is still there. I am going to just finish that same challenge that we didn't finish it, you know? We are going to finish it. But I am giving it a little bit more time that I get bored of the normal league to go into the Rocky Challenge, you know, when I don't have anything else to do. Let us spam essences, please. That would be cool. Spam GGG to get me in there. Yo, GGG, hire my boy Steven here. He's living in New Zealand, giving a customer support job, dude.
Of patch 2G. I think the loot changes that they've made is a step forward. And I do believe it's the genesis to better crafting. However, if we still are so non-deterministic in crafting, you would have to triple the amount of loot that's being dropped. Now, again, I'm going from one extreme to the other, but that is one thing that I don't agree with just the pure casino gambling environment when it comes to crafting. I just wish they would make it a little bit more deterministic, but that's one example. But the point is, I want them to stick to their guns, but also listen to the important things that the players are saying. And hopefully that combination where they kind of move a little bit, not too much, and do bend on their vision a little bit, but not to the point where it's not the game that they wanted to make. Because I do appreciate.
Exactly, I agree entirely with this point. I think this is the way to go. I think this is the way to go. I agree entirely with this. Listening to players' feedback, but not so much that you completely destroy the game. Because there are games like Diablo 3 and Diablo 4 that they went too much with what players wanted and they completely destroyed the game, right? And then they don't know how to fix it. And also selected the parts of the things that players wanted that were not that important instead of the ones that were important. For example, in Diablo 4, people want a deep end game and they focus on leveling up and on fucking affixes in gear or whatever instead of giving us end game, right? So aside that you are doing it wrong, you are focusing on the wrong things. Don't do that, Gigi. Focus on the correct things and do it your way, but addressing what players are worried about.
Appreciate the meaningful combat. I do appreciate the difficulty. I think it is unbelievable.
Yes,
The fact that this game has so many things still to fix, and I look forward to playing it every day, even with all the sores, I think speaks big volumes. Now, I know you might be saying, well, you're one goddamn person. That's not everybody. And you're right. The numbers, they're kind of so-so. They're not as horrible as the feedback. There are still 50, 60, 70,000 players. Now, again, those are just Steam numbers. We don't know how many are playing on the standalone. We don't know how many are playing on console. So my only foundation of stats, unfortunately, is Steam. So yes, they have gone down big time, but they're still in the 40, 50, 60,000 range, even with all the negative reviews and the negative bombing feedback that they've gotten. So I think that kind of says something. I hope you.
Exactly, and Jonathan himself said this in the interview, that Mark told him, dude, you need to relax. People are still liking the game. Look at the numbers. People are still liking the game. Yes, they are complaining or whatever, but the game is still good. And I believe so. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I believe that PoE 2 is already over Last Epoch again. Like, it has more players than Last Epoch again. Even with Last Epoch delaying the season, which means that PoE 2 has more, how do you say this? Player retention. PoE 2 has more player retention than Last Epoch. You burn through the content in Last Epoch faster. Maybe you can add a special blacksmith NPC to appear in maps randomly where you can actually choose an attribute for equipment mod. That can be good. That can be good. But then people are going to complain of RNG if you don't get the blacksmith. And if they give you the point in the Atlas tree to find more the blacksmith, everyone is going to put it in there. So it is not a choice. You pay him depending on the mod or something. That is one way to balance it. With an 80% to smash your balls and delete your character vision. Or maybe they can add a crafting bench that you can use to add one more to. It is just easier, right, Fernando? Just do that, and that is fucking easier, dude.
You agree with that? You'll correct me if I'm wrong. But clearly, there's an audience for this game.
Yes.
Now, it's just a matter of how and when we're going to get there. 5 months in, and there's still so much more to come to this game. There's still half the act.
Now, the way he's framing this does makes me think something. For an early access game that was supposed to be released in a 12-month time frame that they already said they are not going to hit, I do think that the content release cadence is slow as fuck. Maybe it is because I am thinking about the game all the time, I am playing all the time, I am making videos every day. Maybe I feel it that way because of that, because I am too focused on the game. But I do think that the release cadence is way too fucking slow. Like, we are not getting enough content for a game in this stage. If the game was fully released and you are releasing big fucking leaks, okay, you can do it every 3-4 months. But right now it is too fucking slow, dude. My opinion. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe I am just starving for more content, and that is why I say that.
Missing. There are still a ton of classes and ascendancies missing. Probably more bosses, and I can go on and on and on and on. There's still a lot of content to come, but we are 5 months into it. And I just wanted to do this video because today is 5 months to the day. So,
oh yes,
I want to hear from you.
Nice.
Drop a comment. Tell me how you're feeling about Path of Exile 2 5 months in. What made you stay? What made you quit? What's the one thing GGG has to get right in the next big update? Point 3. Like, comment, and subscribe for more PoE2 content, updates, reflections, deep dives, me going off like this.
Do it, guys. His videos are really good. I watch his videos all the time. Subscribe, dude. And yes, Sammy, this was a good video, dude. A good video. Yes, I know I disagreed with the loot point. But with everything else, I do agree, dude. I do agree with everything else. Some things partially, right? But I do believe the game is in a good spot. I trust GG to make the game even better. I think this game will get to the point where everybody will be happy with the game. At least the new players that are here for PoE2, right? Maybe PoE1 players are never going to be fully happy with PoE2, but maybe it can get to an acceptable point for them. But it will never be their game because their game is PoE1, and that is fine as long as they still release content for PoE1, right? But yes, awesome video, dude. Thank you very much. Thank you for the video, dude. Are we ever gonna get all the PoE1 cosmetic? Is that in the vision or just the loot boxes? They said they promised that we are going to get them, so I do think we are. And they also said that they need to do it because of PoE1, because they want to port everything from PoE1 to PoE2, so they can take all the cosmetics from PoE2 and take them back to PoE1, so they can make PoE1 look better and look like PoE2 but still be PoE1. So yes, they are going to do it 100%. And when we get to that point, both games are going to be awesome, by the way. And I trust we are going to get there. Maybe 2 years, but we are going to get there. Yeah, they need separate things. Oh, brother, the comment went away. Give me a second. They need separate things for PoE1 and PoE2. If they keep moving developers from one game to another, they will have a lot of issues, not only time-related issues. I agree with that. Maybe not whole teams, but they need to have like a core team that is always working on one of the games, and then they have a secondary team or a tertiary team that moves around between the teams when they need crunch, right? My opinion, that should be the approach. Side note, they're still playing PoE2. Brother, I am still playing PoE2. It's fucking awesome. And if you guys are still enjoying it, great. And if you got bored, that is also great. It is a game. I'm farming endgame for 10 hours to collect 4 or 5 divines. Like it's a fucking job. This is the reason I'm out for now. I slided something in your DM, brother. For sure, Uncle Jay. Dude, thank you. I am going to read it after the stream. Or do you need me to read it now? Let me know if I can read it after the stream, or you need me to read it now, and I will read it now. Bro, what is that build? Herald of Ash Rake. Yes, it is for leveling. It is for leveling. Like the build that I actually want to play is not this one. This is for leveling fast. Rake Stomping Ground. With the Herald of Ash to explode everything fast. I'm playing fucking Diablo 4. I even give Blizzard $5 for the Battle Pass. Dude, what the fuck are you doing buying the Battle Pass? I am playing a little bit of D4 here and there. I am like level 20 with a rogue. I played a little bit, then I level a couple of levels, and that way. But I am too hooked on PoE2, dude. Okay, let me read it, dude. Let me read it. I am going there. Let me put this in here so you know. Hey, Master Rochi is padding there. Is this released or is this or it is unlisted? Unlisted, okay. Dude.
Hey guys, Jay.
Dude, when you actually release this one, I am going to react to this one. 100%. Are you okay with that? That when you release it, I can react to it to upload the reaction to the video. Let me know if you are okay with that, dude. But I will wait for you to actually release it. Want a nasty ring? I have a feeling you're the guy for the power. It depends if it is useful for me. Because I am playing Ballista and Thorns. If it is not useful for me, I am not going to take it away to just trade it away, right? Trying default for the first time tomorrow. Oh, that is cool, dude. That is cool. Are you a PoE player? Because maybe you won't like Diablo 4. I like Diablo 4. I think it's cool. You progress fast. You destroy the whole game in 3 days, and you are happy. And it looks cool. It feels cool. I don't think it's worth a react since it's rambling about a build. Oh, okay. Let me check this out then. So we will just watch it, but not an actual react, right?
Hey guys, Jay here.
This is Uncle Jay, guys. I really recommend you guys to sub to him because he uploads good builds, original builds that you don't see anywhere else. Some days ago, he made a build with a chest that nobody's using, and he did it great. And he combined it with grenades in a tyrant. It was crazy. I love that build, dude. So I really recommend, and he's growing, by the way. You have been getting a lot of subs lately, Jay.
And finally, I think I have found the next character that I want to build, or at least like try to make a proper character with. I have been spending all my time, all my gold, all my resources, all my currency to do something. And here is the kind of like the final result. So what you are seeing here is a lot of monsters is slowed for 104% here. So this is just like a showcase, right? Normally, realistically, what we should be doing is to link the black.
Dude, those mobs are not slow. They are fucking frozen, dude. They are slow as fuck, motherfucker. What is that, dude? And I guess you are also improving your presence, your area of effect, right? So that increases to the whole fucking screen.
The temporal chain curse into blasphemy, and so everything around my character is slowed by a certain amount. The magic monster is going to be slowed less. The white monster is going to be slowed by right now at 70%, which basically they do not really do anything unless you purposely stand in one place and yeah, just like try to take every like few seconds. If you just move a little bit, everything would just miss every single attack. It looks so funny. So
that is cool,
I got
dude.
this from a previous video in the previous patch 0.10, and some creator, I'm sorry, I forgot his name, but you probably can find him if you search for the YouTube video. It was some guy who played a Titan build that he used, I believe, the Living Bomb, which is the skill from the staff. It's a basic skill, by the way. And what
Already saw us on channel. Yes, it is awesome, dude. Can we see it too? Of course, we are seeing it, dude. That show the ring on a stream. Yes, this is the ring. Oh, 5100 divine ring should be 40 DPS. Yes, I showed it, dude. It is insane. That is why I was doing like this, because it has the 2 types of damage. It has 2 attributes, and it has the fire damage. Fucking insane, dude. Don't drink soda at midnight, you goose. It will turn into carbs. That is 0, dude. That is 0 calories. It doesn't have any carbs. Remember, I am doing keto. I am not eating carbs in any way. Dude, I was not showing the video. I am an idiot. Because I changed my cam, dude. I am an idiot, guys. I am sorry. And I was thinking you guys were watching the video with me.
that I want to build.
I was sure we were watching the video together.
Or at least like try to make a proper character with. I have been spending all my time, all my gold, all my resources, all my currency to do something. And here is the kind of like the final result. So what you are seeing here is a lot of monsters is slowed for 104% here. So this is just like a showcase, right? Normally, realistically, what we should be doing is to link the blast.
Look at those mobs, guys. This was what I was seeing that you wasn't seeing. That the mobs are slow as fuck. They can't move. They are frozen.
Chain curse
Look at
into
that.
blasphemy, and so everything around my character is slowed by a certain amount. The magic monster is going to be slowed less. The white monster is going to be slowed by right now at 70%, which basically they do not really do anything unless you purposely stand in one place and yeah, just like try to take every like few seconds. If you just move a little bit, everything would just miss every single attack. It looks so fun. So
that is cool, dude.
I got this from a previous video in the previous patch 0.10, and some creator, I'm sorry, I forgot his name, but you probably can find him if you search for the YouTube video. It was some guy who played a Titan build that he used, I believe, the Living Bomb, which is the skill from the staff. It's a basic skill, by the way. And what he was doing is he was able to actually slow the enemies by 100% with the temp chain aura. I think that was the case where GG actually decided to nerf the temp chain aura, or nerf blasphemy to be specific.
I guess he was doing it because with the Tyrant you can double up your effects with the passives with the Tyrant node, right? With the hulking form. And that way he was able to achieve those high amounts of skill effect. Or skill effect, right? Duration is a different thing. Skill effect. Sadly, they slap a massive less effectiveness, of course, on blasphemy, which is stupid, dude. Let us use blasphemy. Nobody wants to manually cast a curse, dude. That shit looks hilarious. Yes, dude, it looks insane, dude.
And right now, the blasphemy actually has a whopping 41% less magnitude of curses.
Stupid as fuck.
So we cannot really realistically reach like 100% slow, which makes enemies just stand still in one place and do nothing. But with just the temp chain, with the Titan here, we can just slow them down to this point where basically they don't do anything really. And yeah. All that I need to figure out right now is just to figure out a damage delivering system, and I am testing a bug.
So you are you froze the minions or the mobs, but you don't have damage, basically. Like you invested full on the slowness, but you haven't invested in damage. But dude, still, this is insane because this makes you immortal, right? They can't kill you. They can't kill you. But I like the title because you got me with the title. When I saw the title, I said, I want to react to this video because he's going to talk about how to solve in-game design white mobs being too fast. But no, you are just throwing out there a fucking build where you slow the whole fucking game down. That is fucking awesome, dude. In theory, we can do the same thing on Gemling and Chronomancer. Roughly should be the same as slow, and for bosses, they hard cap slow at 35%. Still 35% is a lot, right? You have a long time to dodge the skills that are going to kill you. Who is the guy from the video? I will give him a like. It's Uncle Jay, dude. You can click on his name. He's in here in the chat. Uncle Jay. Awesome videos about builds. He's great, dude. I recommend it a lot. He has some great builds out there. This will be good to run in a party. Ooh, yes. Like one dude goes full in slowing everything down and the other dude kills everything. Dope idea. Yep. All my skills, 0 links on the video. Nice. By the way, guys, this is the ring that Ori just gave me. That is an insane ring. Look at this. Increase rarity of items found. Add physical damage. Add fire damage. Increase fire damage. 28 strength and 38 dexterity. Awesome fucking ring. And it is good for my ballista guy. I will probably have to tweak around the resistances, but these are good attributes for my ballista dude.
Bunch of different setups. So first of all, it is the curse setup because we are building a curse build, right? More or less. So I am trying to play around with despair over here, and despair can trigger a bunch of different damage effect. So first of all, it can use burning inscription. So what burning inscription do is burn. It create ignite ground that is based on 20% of maximum mana per second. So that is basically we scale mana, right? Second, decaying hex. This thing 100
That is a cool way of doing damage, dude. That is a fucking cool way of doing damage. I like builds being cool, dude. And the builds that Jay show are cool, dude.
percent of intelligence as chaos damage per second. So if we scale, say, just intelligence and mana in general, we are scaling both forms of damage. Obviously, I am not having any links to support the damage, and I am testing in a relatively low level zone. I think this one, yeah, it is a Act 3 Cruel, the first zone. And why choose this zone? Because it has the mosquito over here, which is a very fast moving creature, and if it moved at this speed, I think the mapping is going to be completely safe. So it's just
Exactly.
a matter of
You are
how
immortal,
do we want to
dude.
deliver the actual damage. Right now,
And if for some reason you can't kill bosses, let's say, I know you will find a way of killing bosses because you always do. But let's say you don't. It doesn't matter. You focus this character on mapping and you do, I don't know, expedition. And you was in a different character. At this point, we have several characters.
we can do a lot of things. I think we can do chaos damage over time, which can be this shenanigan, or it can also be like just good old ED contagion, so SS drain and contagion. We can also use some particular skill that normally is a little bit clunky to use because you can get swarmed very quickly. So right now I am also having Solar Orb, which is this thing over here. It burns the enemies very close to the actual Solar Orb. And because I am having a particular unique ring, the ignite actually proliferate. So Crackle Creep is the one that I'm using. It actually proliferate the ignite. And I think for single target for this particular setup, we can use Flame Blast. And just like that,
What
they
the
just pop
fuck?
everything. So that is the basic idea.
Brother, that was fucking awesome, dude. What? How the fuck did you come up with that? I am jealous, dude. I am jealous because I want to make builds like that, dude. Every time I watch one of your videos, I get jealous because I don't have the skill, the imagination, the knowledge to make builds like that, dude. Can someone explain why they nerf Hex Blast? I don't know, dude. That is fucking stupid. Hex Blast was not broken. They should have leave it as that. I love Hex Blast as a concept, but they destroyed that shit. I think your villain was like, I know he's gonna want this for the build. Dude, yes, those attributes are great for my build, dude. I will have to figure out resistances, but I do want the damage because I need the damage and the stats. Yes, dude, why? This guy's a wizard. He is, dude. He is.
Idea. Right now, I am trying to play around with both ignite and chaos damage over time because we can convert the ignite to deal chaos damage on the enemy by using the black flame ring over here, right? And I am trying to just basically get all the interaction that I can thought of all together in one place, and then I will trim off and actually make a character with just the mechanic that makes sense in the end. Right now it is all over the places. I am mana stacking.
So you are having to do a trade-off, right? So you can go 100% slow if you want to do this explosion, and they are going to move a little bit. Or you can go the explosion, but you have to lower the slowness, right? So you are trying to balance it out to have all the slowness you can at the same time explode these motherfuckers. Brother, I hope you do it because it is fucking great, dude. I spent like 8 to 10 million golds respecting and try basically all the skills to this point. Brother, that is insane. I don't have the patience to do that. And that is why you make great builds and I don't. Because I don't have the patience to do that, dude. Well, gotta go back to work. My lunch break is over. I'm glad Jazz always stream this time, so I always have something for to watch. Dude, thank you for stopping by, dude, and thank you for the build, dude. Thank you for the build. Guys, remember to give a sub to Jay. He's fucking awesome, dude. If you want cool builds, follow him. He does the builds himself, by the way. This is not like recycling builds. He does everything himself, dude. I'm from Vietnam. That is great, dude. That is fucking awesome. It's 1 p.m. here. Nice, nice.
I am intel stacking. I am chaos dot stacking of some sort. Technically, if the enemies is this slow, we can just like take our time and do whatever. Multiple button, multiple sources of damage. It's okay. Maybe we can do dark effigy, the totem, the chaos totem that deals damage based on how many chaos debuff that you are having on the target at the same time. So maybe we can do something like that. There is a dark effigy with the poison from the poison spear. I forgot the name of the poison spear. I don't remember any name of almost any item in PoE 2 right now, but there's the spear that makes infinite poison, and I think that have really insane synergy with dark effigy if it counts every single stack of poison as one instant to deal the damage. So I think it can potentially be really good there for single target. For clear, I think we are going to be okay with the fact that if I choose to go for this setup, you can see the AoE is absolutely massive, and then if the enemies is we can potentially even use some more like trigger shenanigan. I think we can mess around with corpses, because for this build, right, you already see what is going on. The monsters are not really fighting back because they cannot.
Yeah,
So maybe
exactly.
we can do something with like a minion running around. The minion doesn't have to kill enemy, but it can trigger a bunch of different things. Maybe we can do some corpses shenanigan, and then we can do cast on minion death. I'm thinking about, actually I should test this one right now. I should test the interaction between cast on minion death and also the unearth, because unearth, unlike other minion skill, unearth actually create, you can trigger the unearth basically, because the minion is actually a secondary proportion of the skill.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a spell skill that deals damage, so it is different from all the other minion skills. Right, so let me just show you a flame blast over here. Obviously I am having no damage scaling right now, by the way, except for some random gem levels that I'm having. We can do this. We can do basically everything. And just slowly withering down the enemies. And if you notice, that unique monster is slowed by 35%. I think that is probably the highest number that we can go for on a unique monster. I think that is the cap, because I reached that 35% when the white monster curse was 60%. Now I reach 70% with the slow effect of the temp chain over here, and the unique monster still is slowed by 35%. So I think that is a hard cap on the unique monster.
He said that earlier, that the bosses cap at 35% with the slowness. That you can't slow the bosses at the same rate that you slow down the mobs. It will be fucking OP as fuck if you could do that, dude. I think it is stupid that we need to pay for respect during early access. Fine with it after full release. Or make it cheap, right? Make it fucking cheap. I'll be honest, I don't have a problem with respecting, but I don't respect as much as someone like Ye that respects. So if you want, what you are saying is, if you want players to respect, you have to make respecting more accessible. And I do agree with that. Maybe not free, but make it so cheap that it doesn't matter, right? True, or at least they decrease the cost for respect. Yes, they decrease it somehow. The problem is that some players think that the game, about the game like it is already released. So if you bring down the gold cost right now, and then later you increase it, people are going to say, oh, they increase the gold for respect, they suck, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know that players are like that, dude. You know that players are like that, brother. Well, guys, it is 1 a.m. for me here. This is my time limit to go cook me some dinner, edit videos, sleep, and all of that. I will leave it at that for today. I know that I started the stream late. I am sorry. We will be back here tomorrow, of course. I hope seeing you guys here again. You guys are awesome, dude. I am insanely grateful for every single one of you. Thank you so much for all the support you have been giving me. God, please bless every single one of the people that are here. Make them happy. Make their families happy. Make their dreams come true. Guys, thanks for being here. You guys are awesome. God bless you. And remember, don't be afraid ever, because this is just a ride.